Okay, so I think we are live. I just want to wait until the video. But for those who are joining, we had Inktober. So the entire month of Inktober, I did a bunch of Inktober drawings, and this has been a challenge for me because it was an entire month of drawing, which I never did before. But now I want them so that I can make prints out of them. But of course, I don't want to make prints out of things that are just black and white, just lines. I don't think that nobody would want. So I decided that I'm going to watercolor all the pieces, or at least I'm going to start with the ones that I like the most and that I think that I don't need to redo. So today, this is what we're gonna do. I have no idea how long. Usually takes me a long time till I watercolor things, but I'm going to start with one of the most liked pictures that I had on Instagram. And this one is the spice. So these are sunflowers, so I'm going to draw them with yellow, and the leaves, well, we're just gonna go ahead. Usually when I start with the potions, I just start with the outline a little bit. I just want to make it pop. So I think I'm going to start with some yellow. So I'm using a number 1 brush from Artigo. It's a Stilinski brush, so has a really nice spring. And I'm just gonna start with some cadmium yellow from Schminke. So I'm going to make a puddle of my color. So one thing that I noticed while I was doing a test one with the same paper, I was doing a small test with one of the Inktober ones, and what I noticed is that I chose the wrong paper. Although this paper is Fabriano paper, and usually Fabriano paper is really nice, what I didn't notice before is that this is not 100% cotton. This is only 20% cotton. And I was like, when I bought it, I was wondering, why is it so cheap? But it was online, so it didn't look very good. So next time I will look again, because I really like the Fabriano paper that is super 100% cotton, because then the colors really blend into each other. And yeah, now I have to go with it because I'm not gonna redo all the paintings on the proper paper. So we're just gonna have to learn to deal with the paper that we have. But this is one thing that I find really important whenever you're watercoloring. I think that color is secondary, as in watercolors are secondary. Paper is always primary, because if you don't have good paper, then you can have all the best watercolors in the world. It's not going to happen unless you're really good at watercoloring. So I know that I watched some people, they do really amazing art with just like a moleskin notebook and just very simple prank watercolors. But I think those people are so much into their game and they know how to play with water and how to do all this stuff. And I'm really not that good at all of this. So I really do need the good paper for me to do anything nice. So I'm just gonna go around so I can make this potion pop a little bit before I add all the color on the inside. It's just the outline. I know that it's all about practice, and I think a lot of people are just used to practicing every day with watercolors, and that really shows. So this cadmium yellow really looks like a neon kind of color, so that's interesting. I'm going to try to see how all of this works. I'm not gonna go with blue around, because actually my entire piece is going to be pretty much yellows, and so I hope everybody's is okay and is doing okay. I know that I was a bit gone for a week, but what I was doing during this week is I edited a lot of some videos I had from before Inktober, so that I have enough videos for the next month, and this way I can actually concentrate on coloring all of these ones and actually make prints onto my web shop. So then I'm gonna use this month to actually do the prints, and I have some videos already ready, and then in December I'm gonna focus on a lot of holiday things, and actually maybe I'll start before December with some holiday stuff, because I like to do holiday things. I like to use really bold colors and draw Christmas trees and other stuff. And I realized that I have about 50 cards that I need to do, because I need to send a lot of cards, and I'm not only sending to friends and family. I think it's gonna be more than 50 cards that I have to do, but I am going to send also to my my direct reports, because, well, usually I would see them in the office, but now I can't see them. So I'm gonna start on the inside. So I'm preparing a bit the green now, and I'm using like a really again a Still Ink C1, but it's half of 0, so 2 out of 0. It's a really small brush, because I want to do with green all of these insides. So this actual jar has pistachios inside, so this is what I'm going to add. I'm gonna add the pistachio green to the middle. These are pistachio nuts, because any chef that is worth, this was for the chef. So I always am thinking that any chef worth their salt they will use pistachios in their cooking because pistachios are tasting so good. So they will make like a pistachio powder to put everywhere, and yeah, that's gonna be nice. I'm not gonna color everything, right? Like I'm gonna try to leave a lot of the white on the paper, so that's kind of how it's going to be. And let me see, which one did I forget? Okay. And I need red brown, so I'm gonna use English Venetian red for the small other ones. These are, oh, how do you call them? They're not cinnamon, but they're very close to it. You put them in glue wine. I just forgot how you call them. It's glue wine spices. So these are these special spices here. Maybe somebody knows how these ones are called, because I just don't I don't know the English word, unfortunately. And now you can see the problem with this paper. This paper, when you go over, it kind of lifts it, you lift the color. So that's why I say that this particular one is not so good. Okay, so now the question is, the pistachios are almost white, right? But they're not quite white, they're white yellowish. So I think I'm going to use buff titanium for it. So I have here a jar of clean water. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing up my buff titanium here. And maybe I'm going to add just a smidge of neutral tint, yeah, to make it a bit darker. Okay, that should be enough buff titanium. And now I'm gonna use again the small brush, and I'm just gonna do the pistachios, and I'm just gonna add a smidge of color. Okay, now I'm noticing buff titanium, you really cannot see it, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna have to go with the gray. So let me check this one. Okay, I'm gonna maybe use the Davis gray. So I need to mix it up here. It's a really weird gray. Let me say Payne's gray. Payne's gray. Payne's gray. And we're just gonna mix the colors. Okay, let's take our smallest and just take a little bit of color. You really need just a little bit, just a hint of color. And then maybe pistachio, because I think the pistachios needs to really pop. So again, I have no idea how long one of them is taking me. This is going to be a good test, because if I need to finish all of them, I need to know how much time I'm going to spend on doing them all. If it's going to be a few weeks or if I can finish within a week. So this is like my test. Can I do within the hour more than one? I don't know. Okay. So I added the gray, but the gray is like super clashing. So I need to really whiten it up. If only we could have a slightly darker buff titanium. That would be so cool. I'm going to have to heat it a little bit with the heat tool, because the green didn't yet dry out. So just okay. My apologies for the sound and for the weird sound that you hear. This is my heat tool and it makes a lot of noise. Usually when I'm filming like a card making video and I'm using the heat tool, I just eliminate the sound from the heat tool because it's so noisy. Makes no sense to have the sound there. So yeah. The star of the show, or the star of this painting, is going to be the sunflowers. So these ones, they don't need to really pop or anything, the spices, because I'm planning to make the sunflower pop. The spice must flow. Yes, Roman. Hello, Andrei, Roman. Oh, the spice must flow. Yes, I heard that there's a new Dune series that they're gonna do. I saw it. I don't remember where I saw the commercial, but it looked very nice. And they had Paul Atreides and everybody. So I cannot wait. I always was fascinated by Dune. Oh yeah, I remember a funny story with Dune. Like the first time I got introduced to Frank Herbert and Dune was on a holiday on 8th grade that I went with my friend to her grandparents in a cozy city called Tecuci. So she was like a really big science fiction fan, and she was also an artist. Actually, she became an architect, which is very funny. But when we were in 8th grade, she was drawing a lot. And I convinced her, so she wanted to read Dune, but she also wanted to draw. So what happened for the entire vacation, I convinced her to make me a drawing in gouache with Dragon Ball Z. And as payment, I was reading Dune to her out loud for the entire holiday. So we finished the entire book and I was just reading and she was drawing. And this is how we got introduced to Dune. It was also my first time reading it. So I think the payment was really nice because I got a really nice drawing from her. So, and we both got hooked to Dune. And I remember that I read all the Dunes and I was like raising money to buy them because the books were pretty expensive. But the last one, I'm going to start doing the leaves with more. First, I'm going to make some greens. So the last book that I read there was Dune 7, and that was written by the son of Frank Herbert, and it was only available in English at that time, and I wasn't very good at English when I was at that age, but I really wanted to read the book. So what I did is I read Dune 7 and I had to read it 3 times and I had to have the dictionary next to me. And this is, I think, this is kind of how I learned how to speak really good English and how to understand it because of that book. So it was very interesting. Like, afterwards, I continued with English books because a lot of the good sci-fi books were never translated to my native tongue, which is Romanian, and they were only available in English. And I remember I started reading the Terry Pratchett books, all in English, and that was really again totally different English than what you learn in school. And then I'm trying to, and I think the one that really cemented the genre for me was a very funny book by an author called Frank Asprin, and the book was called Meat. I mean, it was a series, pretty much like Terry Pratchett. It was a series, I think 6 books or 7 books. And Meat standed for Mythical Young Troubleshooting Heroes. And it was basically a story about a bunch of people going around and solving going on all sorts of adventures in different dimensions. So pretty so yeah, that was really nice. And I think this is how I ended up doing a lot of English, and like just by reading the books and watching the movies. And yeah, we don't have the movies dubbed in Romania, so this is how I learned my books. So I don't know what books really got you started when you were young, or what did you, because when I was younger, I wasn't reading sci-fi. I was reading a lot of adventure books and a lot of like things like Jules Verne and Alexandre Dumas. I read like the entire series with the Three Musketeers and the Madame de Montsoreau and the Viscount of Monte Carlo. Those were really nice, and then a bunch of other but then I got into science fiction because I started with Asimov, the Robots, the Empire, and the Foundation series. I think it was, at the time when I read it, it was like 16 books, and it was so fun because it's a combination of science fiction and actual like detective books, which is kind of funny. And what really impressed me by it, because it was all detective kind of thing, until the final pages I couldn't figure out basically who did it. It's like a really truly good reading, because you couldn't figure out the villain of the story. So that's what I really liked about those books. And then I continued with, yeah, Frank Herbert and others, and I still enjoy reading a lot of books even nowadays. And nowadays I'm more into fantasy because they kind of transport me into this other world. And it helps with me picturing a lot of images that I would like to draw in my mind, especially all the fantasy books that are there. Wow, it's half an hour and I'm not even touching the flowers yet. It's amazing how watercolor can set you back really a lot. Watercolor is, whoever thinks that watercolor is easy or something, it's not really, because you need to do so many layers. You need to add so many layers. My bigger pieces usually take like up to 12 hours to do, because you have to wait, you have to, yeah, it's a lot of details that you have to do. And I honestly kudos to everybody that is doing watercolor super fast. Like I see some other girls that I really like on YouTube, like Danica Seals or others, and they make such amazing artworks, but they make it look so effortlessly because they're like they're super fast. And okay, it very well can be that it is simply they've learned so much that they can do this watercolors really fast. But for me it's amazing because okay, I'm going to do some more gray, and I'm gonna darken some stuff while these ones are drying out. So I'm going to darken some corners here. Hello for whoever joined. I see 21 people are watching. This is Claudia and we're just doing some watercoloring. Okay, I put way too much gray. I can spread it around. You see, the problem with this type of paper that is not 100% cotton is that it is more difficult to lift color when you are kneading it. Okay, I'm going to dab. Okay. Okay, that's nice. I just wanted to give it a little bit more oomph. Oomph, is that the correct term? Oomph. Okay. Here next to this one. Oh, way too much water. This is a number. Oh, this is number 1 and it holds so much water. These are very good brushes. The Stilinski brushes are very good. And they can hold like a lot of water. But they also cost a lot of money. So if you're ever going to invest as much as me, don't do it. Like every time I go to an art shop, I buy yet another brush, and I don't think that's the correct mentality to have. Okay, I'm going to have to turn this a little bit around so I can do this part. Because I'm spending way too much money. Still nice. Okay. And I'm going to add some gray on the inside. And this is going to be the smoke, so that's why it's gray. And I'm not gonna add this everywhere. Just gonna add it to the corners here and here. And I really want to smooth everything out, but okay, that looks much better now. I'm gonna add here some gray. And add here some gray. I think in this hour, we're just going to have to do only one. I'm not gonna try to hurry because I don't want to mess this one up. And it's going to be fine. So I'm gonna add here some more gray. Here. Like sometimes watercolor takes much more concentration than line art. On line art you can still think for some reason, but when you're doing watercolor, it zaps my mind. My mind can only think into, okay, what do I do next and how do I do this? And things like that. So this is like it's such a difference. Watercolor is like you have to concentrate. I'm gonna have to dab this one a bit. Yeah, that's good. So on a normal watercolor paper that is 100% cotton, you can do these blends super easy. I mean, you don't have to work the paper at all. The water just flows really nice. But in here, you really have to press with the brush into the paper so that the color just moves, because the color just doesn't want to move. Okay. So lesson learned for any new things: don't try to be cheap like me. You try to use the correct paper. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that cheap paper is not worth it. You're gonna pay some money and then in the end you're gonna just be frustrated with just the cheap paper. Okay, so now which colors will I use for the flowers? Let me think. It's going to be orange. So I'm gonna use yellow orange from Schmincke. This is really a transparent color. And I'm going to deepen it with some transparent orange, also from Schmincke. It's more like red orange. And yellow orange looks a lot like the new gamboge from Daniel Smith. I'm just preparing my colors here. Okay, so let's start with the upper part, and I'm just going to add to one side. And I'm just gonna, so I added, the way I do it is I add the color to a side and then I'm just pulling the color towards the part where it needs to be a bit lighter. So this is how I get like this gradient. And then I'm gonna go in with the red one. And I'm just gonna add here to the bottom. Super watery. Okay. Man, this brush really holds too much water for my liking. It's like, is there such a thing as a too good brush? I think it is. I think it is. Okay, going to pull the color. Maybe I just need to take directly from the pan. Okay. That looks a bit better directly from the pan. And then you can just let it do its thing there. Now, if you think about it, I don't know if sunflowers are really that deep in color, but these are my sunflowers that I like to do. So they're gonna have to live up to my expectations, not to their realistic expectations. Haha. Okay, I'm really going at it. My sunflowers are always more deeper in color. So there's no realism here, yeah? Let's be clear. It's really fun to do this. Okay, I'm gonna use just the leftover on the brush for this one. I'm stealing color from one side and I'm putting it to the other. And then let's take some more transparent orange. So this is where I wish I would have done maybe not the yellow onto the side of this one, but it's a bit too late for now to change. Still nice, and the middle is gonna be like really nice brownish, because dark brown. Hey, these are genetically engineered, modified sunflowers, okay? Do not pin me on this. Maybe I'll do the ones in the back with yellow. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. It gives it a little bit of a pop if I add yellow randomly here. So that's nice. So I'm gonna use, and the one I'm using is Hansa Yellow from Daniel Smith. Okay. And I'm gonna deepen it a little bit with the orange. But it's gonna be nice. Still gonna look nice. The problem with images so small is that you cannot do really deepening of the colors, because it just looks, everything gets lost into each other. So that is the problem with that one. Let's see if I can add some more deepening here. So 15 more minutes of our live stream. I think I can finish. I can finish this. Okay. Let's add some more color to the leaves here. Maybe this one make them differently with orange and green. Orange and green, darker green. Okay, I'm going to try to do this one, and this one I'm going to do it with burnt umber. Yeah, burnt umber. And this is the nut on top. So I'm going to try to add burnt umber. Oh yeah. Okay. And the underneath of the knot I'm going to do with probably, and let's try raw umber. We can get it. I'm just picking up colors directly from the palette. This leaf is way too. The greens I'm using are permanent green and May green, both from Schmincke. Okay. Now, I need again here. Okay, I'm gonna start with raw umber in the middle. And I'm going to add raw umber here. And then I'm going to deepen it with burnt umber. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there to dry. I'm gonna add the leaves here. Okay, now I have to think about this spice bottle thingy. And I'm thinking I need a color that needs to pop, and the bottle I need to have some little bit of blue. I'm gonna use cerulean blue because it looks all too much very similar colors, so it needs a little bit of a, just a little bit, a little smidge. Okay. Yeah, it really brings the colors together. We get some fun mingling of colors here in the middle. And I'm going to do this here. Okay. Still nice. Looking good. And at this time, it's probably that the raw umber dried, and now I can actually add the other one. Okay. Yep. Okay. What else do I need? I need this little one here. And what color should I use there? And then what I need is I need to deepen the colors. I need to create all deepening of colors everywhere, because these have the right. So always with watercolors, they dry way lighter than what you expect. Like when you put the color down, you think, oh no, what happened? But actually when it dries out, it's not as nice. So which color should I choose? Okay. Okay, let's try. I think, should I go for a very dark red or... Oh, this is so hard to choose that color. Okay, I'll do Newgum Bush. Okay. And then the heart is going to be red. Okay, that's good. And the heart is going to be red here. A little pop of color. And then all around is going to have some sepia brown, just to add some... I need to add some shadows here, so that's why I'm using sepia brown. Theoretically, this is it. Okay. And I'm gonna deepen the leaves because I think this is what is missing here. So what should I use? Maybe perlin green, sub green, perlin green, hooker's green. Let's try some of this green. So I'm using some perlin green to deepen the green. And I'm going to just gonna be just on this side. Okay. Yeah, this looks perfect. So Perlin green, it's from Schminke. So I have a combination of colors from Schminke and Daniel Smith and some Winsor and Newton ones, but very few. Winsor and Newton has a lot more, like the ones that now other have like pinks and stuff, a lot more. So I prefer the Winsor and Newton. Look how nice the deepening of the color works. Like, I got scared that something was behind me. I don't know what was behind me. I guess it was the cat. Look, my cats are scaring me sometimes. Just before the live stream, they were checking things out and they were like, ooh. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see how much work is just one watercolor piece. And this is not even a big one, this is a tiny one. So, okay, I have my work cut out for me, I guess. For these ones, to make them into nice prints, but I'll do my best to finalize them by this month. So then I can put them in my Etsy shop. And for whoever wanted prints. So okay. These are gonna be just A5 prints, so not big. So you can, maybe I'll just even make them into postcards as well. That would be cool. So whoever wants to send a postcard to their loved ones, they can do so. That's actually a good idea to make postcards out of this. It's always good to have a piece next to you where you can always dab off the excess water, because man, these brushes hold so much water, and for such intricate designs it's very hard because you can put too much water and then that's not nice. I'm trying to smooth out the color here. I'm just gonna stay a little bit longer just to deepen up some colors. So my apologies that it takes a bit 5 minutes longer than what it normally does. Let me see. Small orange here, small orange. maybe a better idea would be to just transfer them into at least the ones that I want to have prints out of, into good watercolor paper, and try again. It's gonna be some extra work for me, but maybe it will be lesser frustrating in me fighting with these ones. Okay. Perlin green. Let's do this one. So some more cerulean. Now that this part has dried out, I can go around and deepen this part. Okay. Well, what was the darkening here? Maybe this side. Okay. This live stream was not so many stories, unfortunately. I didn't realize that doing watercolor is going to make my brain go into shutdown mode. Because usually I have lots of stories to tell, but this time not that many. Okay. I'm pretty happy with the result so far. What I need to do is I need to wait for it to completely dry out so I can see where the parts that are really lightening up are. And once I see that, then I can darken them a little bit and create the contrast. Right? Other than that, I think they all turned out really nice, and maybe I'll darken these ones with some more orange around and some more gray. But that's about it. Oh, I forgot the most important piece. This was the nice part here in the middle. But other than that, was really great having you all. This was a test for me just to kind of see how long will it take me to do all 30 of them, and I think by the looks of it, it takes me about an hour and a half. So 30 to 40 hours for the entire batch. That's going to take me some time, but I'm pretty confident I can finalize them this month, or at least majority of them. And then in the same time making some awesome prints, and you know, we're gonna take it from there. I always have two jars next to me. One of them is clean water and the other one is not so clean water. I didn't need to actually use all my brushes. I didn't need to use my big brushes at all, so you know, for next time I will know. If you wanted to see how my palette looks like, this is the palette that I'm working with. And these are all my colors. This originally was a 48 color palette, and this I made myself. I just bought the tubes and I put them all. And these are bought over the course of like 2 years because I keep adding colors. And these are more than 48 because I also put them in the middle. So you know, maybe I'll do a video about the palette itself, but I just wanted to show it so you guys know. So I will continue with the live streams, but I think the next live stream that is going to be on Sunday, I'm going to concentrate on just doing some simple watercolor reads and some simple watercolor cards for Christmas, because I need to start with the Christmas ones as well. And then during the week, Monday and Friday, just gonna be videos from the videos that I've done before, and it's gonna be mainly watercolor and watercolor things. So far, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to close the stream for now because we are 6 minutes over the time that I was thinking it's going to be. Thank you, Marlena. I'm glad you liked it. Super nice. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a comment or give it a thumbs up afterwards. Also, you can subscribe and be notified of any of my future ones, right? Mainly I do watercolors and cards. Thank you so much, and I am just going to stop the stream soon.